What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. I wanted to go ahead and make this video because I've started to see the comparisons. You know how the internet is. A lot of people are going to throw stuff out there. And usually whenever they do that, I try my best to maybe see if we can provide some nuance or clarity, or if we can, separate some things so that we're quite clear on whatever it is that people are stating, or in some instances misstating. So I've seen comments around the YouTubes, and I'm sure none of you, really take these things seriously. Maybe some might, that Suicide Squad reminds people of a Gotham Knights style game. Now, here's the thing, people. We know y'all don't like Gotham Knights, but can you try your best to at least apply a little bit of objectivity and, face the reality that both games are very, very different games? You see, here's a problem. There was a perception that Gotham Knights was some kind of live service game. The truth of the matter is it's not. There was also the perception and, in a sense, kind of this theory that Gotham Knights was probably designed to be a live service game because of the loot boxes and so on and so forth. Now, that is a theory. Unless somebody can confirm that, we still hold it as a theory. We're not dismissing it. We're just saying, it's still a theory that we must at least take into account. But the fact of the matter is Gotham Knights is not a live service game, while the fact of the matter is that Suicide Squad is a live service game. So already these two are distinct in their game structure. What's another fact is that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a shooter, while Gotham Knights is an action RPG, not a shooter. I know Red Hood has guns, but this is basically a different design, in a sense, RPG-esque style that's somewhat similar. The closest we can get is his design in Arkham overall. So these comparisons to me are disingenuous. I think these are people probably trying to maybe console themselves for being super harsh towards Gotham Knights and seeing and realizing that, oh crap, we thought Gotham Knights was kind of like this terrible game or something of that nature. Whereas it was just them just overreacting. You know how the internet is, very reactionary. A lot of people say things, they paint themselves into a corner. And now it's time for them to be able to say, okay, all the things you say you don't like about Gotham Knights, are you going to go ahead and, maybe admit that many of those things were not even associated with Gotham Knights, but are now associated with Suicide Squad, and so on and so forth. So I think this is probably one way for them to be able to maybe reconcile that, they were probably super off in their categorization of everything. Now, when you kind of think about it, though, I think what people are probably expressing, and a lot of the sentiments too, are the fact that these games that are coming out, they seem to be slightly deviating from the old structure of a lot of the superhero games, or I would say the classic structure of superhero games. So I can understand that even though some people may be straight up disingenuous, some people may be associating it because they just don't necessarily see a lot of those themes showing up in superhero games at the time. And what are these classic themes? The classic themes are that superhero games were these, straight up action adventure experiences that focused on one character where they could tell the story as a whole. I think the thing that some people think Gotham Knights made a mistake on was being super ambitious. They took 4 characters to tell the story almost simultaneously with all 4, and then weave it into gameplay elements, and then they made an RPG, version of the game. A lot of people were jarred about this. I saw a comment from somebody say, I don't really want to spend my time in a menu in Gotham Knights, which showed me that a lot of people don't necessarily care for RPGs. A lot of people were spoiled by Arkham. They played those games and they were like, yeah, we just want to go in there and be super duper Batman on the go. Whereas an RPG, you have to build your character up. The game of the year last year was an RPG, and you started as a Tarnished with basically nothing. So when you start out Gotham Knights and you're not already kicking everybody's butt, people get upset. They say, oh, it makes the game bad. But, I think it just exposes the fact that a lot of folk are, in a sense, more tuned to playing some games that they're probably used to, but then Gotham Knights was not a game they're used to. So possibly they'll like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, or maybe not, because this game seems to have this element, in my opinion, of pick up right now and start playing. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a game that has too much complexity. It's designed to have a light feel, in my opinion, in terms of gameplay. The developers mentioned a few things about, suits and how the different gear and builds are going to be in a sense, villain inspired. They talked about a Bane one, which gives you like a buff or whatever it is. You could see in one part of the whole presentation, Harley Quinn was wearing a skin or a suit that looked like Wonder Woman. You also had some others. So this is also going to be super interesting. I mean, sorry, that Harley Quinn one and Wonder Woman was kind of jarring to me. Wonder Woman was one of my favorites. So I never would have pictured Harley and a Wonder Woman skin. But, if you read the comics and you follow things, you'll see how both of them are not necessarily too much at odds in some interpretations. So I guess I can let that one go. But at the end of the day, I think we have to come to terms with, the fact that, both games are different. And one game is probably the full representation of what the other game was categorized to be. This is a live service game. This game seems like it'll have some elements that leads it to being like Avengers, while Gotham Knights, on the other hand, is a game more like Assassin's Creed in a sense. It's more RPG-esque. It has a little bit of that, build or craft your superhero, make them be able to do these different things. And, you take it from there and you move into the open world after taking your gear and your stats, just to be able to affect the whole gameplay. I think that's one thing that a lot of the developers' philosophies were. And to me, I think Gotham Knights was a solid game. I know it sounds crazy. When I first said that, people called me all kinds of crazy names. But at the end of the day, you can see that this game, to me, is probably the closest we're going to get in the action genre for a bit until we see Wonder Woman from DC. Everything else is going to pretty much be scooped up easily by Marvel and a lot of their different projects. It's going to be obvious. DC games, in my opinion anyways, I think they took the wrong bet. I'll talk about that in a different video though. Thanks for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.